We are all psychic beings. Remember that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, not the other way around. There's four different clairs to psychic abilities, and we all naturally have them. It doesn't matter if someone's tried to tell you way back when that they weren't real because we were growing up in a patriarchal type of settings, right? So fear is very much mongering as well. So any kind of empowerment was always kind of looked down upon, and psychic abilities are looked as an empowerment because we are naturally all psychic. And there's four different clairs, and I'm sure if you've ever tapped into this world a little bit, you've probably heard much about them, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody's clear on what all four are. So there is clairaudience, which is the ability to hear voice. They say hear voices sometimes, but it's not like this creepy thing. So clairaudience is one of my go-tos, and to receive a lot of information. Now remembering, like, this is not usually outright solid sentences, but usually drop in of words. And the way I can tell the difference between me just talking in my own mind is when it kind of feels like it's dropping in from left side, or if I'm in the middle of a thought or a question, and all of a sudden, poof, the answer seems to be popping in. I know that's my clairaudience kicking in, and that my guides or the angels or whichever being is trying to communicate with me has dropped that in for me. So this is partially how I figured out what the difference is for myself. The next one is clairvoyance, which is also really common in a lot of people. Clairaudience is not as common. It is not usually the first one that shows up, let's just say. Clairvoyance is usually very, very popular as the first one to show up, per se. We say first one to show up because a lot of the time one of the clairs is a little stronger than the others at first until you get to tap in and start using them. So clairvoyance is seeing images. So it's almost, for me, sometimes like you're in that half daydream zone where you're talking to somebody, but all of a sudden maybe you see a picture of a butterfly or a picture of something else. And sometimes they're just solid pictures like that, or sometimes they feel like you're sitting watching a movie, and all of a sudden this little whole clip plays out in front of your eyes. But again, it's like this half daydream mode. And so, in which sometimes you won't always catch it if you're not in a space to be looking for it, I guess, right? It can be very subtle. All of our psychic abilities and clairs are very subtle. So, we do have to be able to have the awareness to know when something is happening. So, that's clairvoyance. Clairsentience is recognizing feelings. So, the best way I can describe this one would be sensations in body. So sometimes when I am channeling somebody's loved one and they're trying to tell me how they passed away, sometimes they'll make my chest hurt. So if they had passed away from a heart attack or sometimes it's lungs as well, but usually they'll labor my breathing a little bit. To show me that it was more lungs. Whereas if it's in the chest and it's my heart, sometimes my whole chest will just kind of have an ache to it. And this is not meant to be a scary thing. Like, it's shouldn't be above and beyond where they're making you feel so uncomfortable in your body that you're like, oh my God, am I really having a heart attack? And if that's the case, you can ask them to back off. Some people are more sensitive than others, and we have to make sure we do have boundaries. But that is recognizing feelings. Also, emotions can be a big one with this one. So sometimes when it's just a complete emotion of love or proud or sometimes grief or sadness as well, just depending on what's been going on or what the messages are being delivered as. It's all for our own understandings to pick up the clues and be able to put the whole puzzle piece together. So that's clairsentience. And then there's claircognizance, which is the instant knowing. And now I find a lot of people have this one very natural and don't even realize. If you've ever gone up to somebody and you've said something and they're like, "How did you know that?" And you're just like, "I don't know, I just knew it." This is the clear. This is that's Claire. Is just that instant knowing. And so sometimes a lot of the time actually people don't even realize that's where it's coming from, is this knowing of certain things or information or certain things that were going to happen, and you're just like, oh, I just knew it. This is this Claire. And it can also be described as the gut feeling. So where you've walked in to a room, or you just got this gut feeling of like, oh, I don't think I should be here, or I need to get out of here. That's that typical gut knowing and intuition. They call it intuition, of course. I say they a lot because this will come as different information from other humans on earth, but they also refers to as my own guides and my own spiritual team on the other side and my own learning from them. So that is the four clairs. Now, if you ever want to test them out, just start tapping into your awareness, and take note of what's going on around you. And from there, the only way you can get to know it is by using it. So have a great day, guys.